Hello everybody, welcome back to PadFootTD Games. My name is Zach, I'm the voice behind the icon, and today we are back once again for another evlog. Last one, leaving from Charlotte. At the end of this one, we're actually going to be heading back home. We are going with the Whelen Modified Tour once again to Myrtle Beach. Very excited for this one. It should be a really good race. It's about 3 hours away. It's currently, what, 8 o'clock? Yeah. Pits open up at 11. Practice is at noon. Race is at 5. It's going to be a busy one, but that's how we like them. We like them good and short. So very, very excited about that. Hope you guys are having a good day. I know that I am. I've got my own frustrations that are kind of happening right now. But with this video, we are actually all caught up, besides a couple Stafford things here and there. So I'm genuinely excited for that, and I'm also just praying for a phone call telling me that I can go pick up the tractor so I can actually build my house this weekend. So we'll see. But right now we've got a 3-hour drive ahead of us, and gosh, what to keep you guys up to date with, or not to bore you with. Well, it shouldn't be that long of a drive anyways, but let me tell you a story. And I know I've already said it, and I'm going to say it again, but I think it kind of comes here. This one's going to be more of a personal story as we drive to the track. And that'd be the story of King and what's happened. And it's going to be frustrating what's happened, but I think it's worth sharing again and again so other people can learn from what my mistakes were and putting blind faith into other people. So let's see, let's actually back this up. Let me think about this actually. If I pull the right date, I can actually do that, weirdly enough. Don't text and drive, everybody. Let's see. Just like that, keep going. Oh, well, I can't find it, but I know it's in there. Huh. Must be because we're not friends anymore. Petty. Oh. Here we go. No, I just had to find it. I reached out, so in November 2018, let's start with that, because that's where all this starts. November 2018, I was working for Northfield Mount Herman, which was a private school at the time, and Danielle and I had been married for 2 years, but we were looking for something different. Like, you know, once you start getting settled, you're like, you know, I kind of want to start looking into the things that I've always wanted. You know, we weren't thinking about kids yet. Well, we were, but, like, not as much as we are now. But it really kind of came down to, okay, I need something different in my life. So in November 2018, I decided, you know what, I've always wanted a horse. I'd like to get a horse. And, of course, I was looking around at horses and boarding places, and I was like, well, I'm going to need somebody to teach me, but, like, I can do weekends and stuff. But my biggest thing is I was making very little money at this private school, which is saying something, because if anybody knows, private schools are known for taking in a lot of money. A lot of money goes other places, let's say that. Specifically for this one, past lawsuits that they're still paying off, building loans that they should never have taken out, stuff like that. That's a whole other conversation that I'm sure I've ranted about before. This one in particular, though, I was like, okay, let's look around, but I have very little money to work with, so I said, you know what, I'm not afraid of hard work, and besides the handful of shows that I do, I usually have my weekends open. And then my summer's open. I'm like, let me find a place that I can work off board in terms of, you know, doing some labor. And I started reaching out to places, and of course their first thing is, what kind of horse do you have? Well, I don't have one yet, but I'm working on it. And they'd kind of shut it down right there, which, as I'm older now, 5 years later, I think about it, and I'm like, yeah, I kind of get it. But, like, you know, a couple people slammed the phone in my face, and it was genuine curiosity, and nobody seemed to be willing to work with me. But I reached out to a place called Rabbit Hollow Ranch. It was in Winchester. It was close. They had horses. And in November, I reached out and I said, hi, I'm curious if you do boarding. Yes, I do. I do not have a horse yet, but I'm thinking about getting one soon. And I'm looking for a place to board. And I was hoping to be able to work some off. And she said, oh, that might be something that we can do for some extra help. Come this weekend and come meet the horses and come hang out. I said, okay. So that was like on a Thursday that I wrote that. I went to visit her and the ranch. Ooh, this one's going to be a long one. Hold on to your butts. So I went out and visited the ranch on that Saturday, and we moved hay, we cleaned stalls, we did all the chore things as you were expecting to do, which I was like, that's fine, scooping poop, all that good stuff, and I was like, okay, that's doable. And then when it came, she was like, we're actually going to go on a ride now. Do you want to just ride one of our horses? This is King, a beautiful Palomino, a good boy. And I said, well, no, I'm not feeling comfortable enough to ride yet. I hadn't been on a horse since I was really small. So they're like, well, you can walk him instead. We did a 3-mile hike through the woods. I walked King. And I said, okay, well, I'll never do that again. I'll ride next time. Which I did, because I went back the next day. I brought Danielle. And from there, we just started to become friends with the ranch owner and learn about the ranch and taking care of the horses. And we started to build this relationship with this woman, which was great. We got to about, we did it for a year of just taking care of the horses, and then it started turning into we were able to feed on our own and feed for her and take care of her dogs and take care of the horses, and really felt this sense of ownership. And I was riding King more and more, and eventually the following December I decided that I was going to buy him from her. She had offered him to me and offered me a really good deal, partial board, partial horse payment, and I was like, well, I always wanted a horse, and he's great, and I love him, and so I bought him, and we continued this aspect of, helping with the chores. And I had King. Took me a year to pay him off for the payment plans that I had. And then we got Willow and brought her into the mix. But that was a horse that I bought outright, and then we were paying partial board for her as well. And it continued to go, and it was fine. From my eyes. From everybody else's, all my friends, family, anybody who knew about our connection with Julie would tell us, you guys are putting in a lot and not getting a lot out of it. And I'm like, well, we're getting discounted board. That's huge. Which it was. But it started to be once I got my job at Keene's, Mount Holyoke, actually, where I wasn't able to be there all the time. We started getting the cold shoulder. We started only being able to do chores and not do any of the fun stuff. They would go off on rides, and we were busy doing chores, which is fine, but there was no consideration of, oh, we should just wait until they're done and they can go with us. And then when I started working at Keene and after COVID, it really started to become more and more of this. It was no longer fun to be there because we were getting these cold shoulders. Danielle had gotten yelled at a couple times for things that were not in her control. She was getting yelled at for me not being there, even though I had a job, which I had a job before, but I was teaching. And you're teaching, you have a little bit more freedom of what you can do. So it ended up coming down to I stopped going to the ranch. I literally stopped going down to see my horse. I continued to pay, and Danielle was taking care of the horses. Until August last year. We're talking August 2022. This all started in November of 2018. And this is how quickly it deteriorated. There's a lot more personal stuff that's in there, but I don't have enough time to go into that. But really what ended up happening was August last year, I said, that's it. I said, she keeps on harassing you. She makes me feel like crap every time I show up to the ranch. I said, we're done. I said, I want us to move. I want us to find a new house. I was so furious. This was on my birthday last year, and I was like, I'm turning 30. I can't deal with this anymore. And again, I'm never that person of run away from your feelings or run away from that. Like, no, but we were in a toxic relationship, and we had to get out. So we started looking around. We didn't want to tell her until we were 100% knew everything was going to happen, because we knew that she was going to give us the cold shoulder. We've seen people leave before. When they leave before, you're dead to her. And we didn't have any place to put King or Willow. So I was just going to wait until our house was started and we'd be able to move them over to the new property. Well, we came back from Dover at the very beginning of May, and Danielle went over to take care of the horses as normal. I'd already had a rough day at work or something. Something wasn't right, or I was just so tired. And I get this phone call from Danielle saying, can you come down and help me clean the barn? I'm like, we don't clean the barn on a Monday. She's like, they didn't clean it this weekend, and I'm being yelled at for it. She knew that we were not going to be there. We already talked about this, and she just yelled at my wife again, and she made her cry. And I said, that's not happening. You can do whatever you want to me. I don't care. I can take it. And I literally don't care of anybody else's opinion. I do. Everybody does, regardless if you say you don't. But, like, you don't make my wife cry. That's a big no-no for me. You don't hurt her feelings. So I said, that's it. On May 2nd, I went over to the ranch. And I told her that we were leaving. Upon that, besides being cursed at and yelled at and screamed at, when I was trying to keep my level-headed, and then at one point I did raise my voice to her, because I blatantly said, you're not listening, and she didn't listen to the you're not listening. And I told her that we were leaving. Well, she told us that we had 1 week to get Willow out. She was not going to extend our board for another month. We had 1 week to figure out where we were going to put another horse. And I said, okay. I said, fine. We will take King and Willow out. All right, we're back. I think we're a little bit further back than we were anticipating, but we're here. Luckily, I think it was the save cycle that ended up making it crash. But regardless, here we are. Really got to fix that map. I think that's really what's also happening with it. So where we leave off, the Willow had to be gone. Well, on top of that, she informed us that she was not going to let me take King, the horse that I had paid for and been paying board for since 2019. Okay? Actually, yeah, 2019, 2020-ish. I think it was 2019 is when I finished. And it was one of those things of like, okay, that's, I'm like, he's my horse. You sold him to me. Yeah, but you weren't supposed to leave. And I said, when you sold me that horse, you knew that there was a possibility of me leaving. There was no written in contract or any even verbal anything, so I'll honor a verbal agreement that we weren't going to take him away. The only caveat was that we were going to take Cloud if we were to leave, so they were not separated. Cloud is his best friend. Life partner, as it were. Well, I said, I'm willing to buy Cloud. She said, nope, I won't sell him to you. Like, nope, that's not going to happen. I said, okay, well, I'm coming to get Willow. Like, I got 7 days to come get Willow. She said, okay, well, I'll give you to the 14th. That was, just over a week and a half. And I was like, okay, well, I need to know if you're going to sell me Cloud. And she said, I need to think about it. I said, okay, I'll see you in a week. Didn't talk to her for another week. Went and saw her down at the ranch. Said, have you had any time to think? She said, no, I've got all this personal stuff going on, and I can't even think about this, and why do you hate me? And then just started screaming at me and said, don't talk to me like this on my own effing ranch, which, by the way, has always been referred to as our ranch, a family. Family didn't mean anything when you're mad, apparently. So I sat there to be screamed at and yelled at, and I was like, I said, I'm coming. This was on Tuesday. I'm coming on Saturday with a trailer to get my horse and to take Willow. I said, I'm willing to buy Cloud from you still. That still stands. I'm like, you need to figure out what's going to happen. And I said, I will see you on Friday. This is so cool. Look at the paragliders up there. That's fun. Parasails. Whatever. Okay, so this intersection's missing. God, that's unsettling. Fun beach, though. There's a helicopter taking off right there, because that's normal. Neat. How neat. Okay, we got to finish up the story. We're getting closer to the end. So, we show up on Friday. I said, I'll be back on Friday. And she said, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I'll have my husband talk to you. And I said, that's fine. I said, I will be back on Friday. We left. I came back on Friday. Nobody's here. Nobody's at their house at all. I go down and knock on the basement door because I know that the daughter is living in the basement. And I asked her, actually I asked her girlfriend, said, do you know where Julie is? They're at their new lake house. I said, oh, well, we were supposed to talk today. I was like, let me go down to the barn just to see if maybe there's a note for me or something. I went down there, nothing. I then came back up, knocked on their basement again, interrupting their night and saying, do you happen to have their cell phone? Da 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 da. And then the daughter actually came to the door and said, was like, well, we don't have his phone number and they're not here. They know you're coming tomorrow. And I said, yeah, but we haven't discussed me being able to take King. I'm like, I don't want you in the middle of this, but this is where it is. And she's like, well, you know, the husband has hurt his knee and she just had eye surgery. And I'm like, okay, I understand that, but like legally I need to know if I need to get somebody else involved. So whatever. I walk back home. Danielle goes off to work. She gives me a quick call saying, the husband breaks? All right. That the husband had just passed her. And I was like, okay, well, he's probably coming to our house so I can actually talk to him. As soon as I get off the phone with her, he pulls into the driveway. I go out and talk to him. Finally a mature conversation with somebody. We're talking, and he said a couple things that were inaccurate, but he's hearing them from his wife, so I would never call anybody a liar, and I'm not going to argue with him because it's not his story. But in the end, he told me that she's not going to sell me Cloud, but I have all legal reasons to be able to take King. Because I was all ready to go to court, have small claims, and get a lawyer, and nobody wants to deal with that crap. I don't even ever want to threaten it. I hate the sue happy world. It's a pain in the ass. So, we did that. I'm going straight. So we did all that, and he said that, and I said, okay. Well, on Saturday, we ran around, got fence panels, got the trailer, because we had to rent one at this point, and we went to the ranch. The ranch owner was not there. The husband was up playing with his excavator. Great. So I go, and we get Willow into the trailer. No problem. She's been in a trailer many times. It worked out perfect. Cool, we're parking at the airport for the racetrack. I dig it. So we do this, and we get her loaded, and now it's on to King, who hasn't been on a trailer for 12 years. I can't get him on. I'm using every technique. He's scared. His heart's racing. I can see it. There's fear in his eyes. I'm feeling horrible because I'm literally ripping him from his life that he's always known. And after about an hour and a half of trying, and I didn't want to kill him, there was a couple other things that happened. The ranch owner's daughter came down and had some words. Then she came down again, and just, you don't want to talk to anybody when you're already dealing with this. It came down to the point where the ranch owner's daughter came down one last time and said, you need to bring him to your house to try to get him into the trailer because we don't want to see him like this anymore. I don't want to see him like this anymore. She said, or she's willing to buy him back. I said, okay, I got to think about it. I sent her on her way. I had 2 shows this day, by the way, so I was already on a clock. And I came to that decision of, even if I was able to get him into the trailer, into a new property without his best friend and everything new, everything that he's ever known, gone, there's a risk that he could die. Just die. He could colic himself and die. So I made the hard decision that I don't regret, but it doesn't mean that it feels any better, to sell him back to the ranch owner. Now, I never want anybody to ever tell me that I don't love him. I don't want anybody to say that I made the wrong choice. I don't ever want to hear that. You don't know the situation. You weren't in it. If I had more time that I could try to get him out of there, I would have. But it wouldn't have been fair to him, and I was thinking about him. So I had to say goodbye to King and accept less than what I actually paid for him back from her. And now we need to build this house and get the hell out of here and wish whoever buys this house luck with their crazy neighbor. That's the story. Sorry, I know. It's just a big, huge rant while we're down here. We can get back into the mindset. We're going to unload. We're going to do practice. But that's the saga of King, and I'm sure I'll tell it again. But thank you guys for listening, and let's head out for practice. All right, good morning, everybody. We had to move the truck. Use your imagination here a little bit. Game updated, so it threw us out. But it is time for us to hit the track here at Myrtle Beach for practice. Hope it's going to be a good one. Let's get her unloaded, tightened up, and Whelen Modified's here at Myrtle Beach Speedway, which we've had some success at before. Really excited to be at this legacy track. Let's head on out. All right, so looking at our results here, not the best. I just could not find a route that route? Come on. I could not find a line that my brain really just wanted to comprehend. So I'm going to do a couple tweaks, and I got some ideas, but hopefully practice, we can kind of put it behind us and we can get out there for some qualifying and maybe do a little bit better. Well, better. There's what, 30 of us here, and I'm starting 13th. You know, midway. You know, we've had a pretty up and down season, more up than down, and hoping that we can continue that as well. But yeah, 13th. Let's start it up and let's see how we do. there you have it, everybody. Our race here. I'm going to address that later. Our race here at Myrtle Beach comes to an end with a win. Feeling really good about it. Our next stop is going to be South Boston Speedway. So I'm excited for that as well. And then we head off to... No. We just did South Boston. Now we're going to be heading off to Nashville again. Whew. Man, everything's just kind of melding together. And so after flipping last week and putting the car back together, it's really awesome to think that we were able to come out here and get a win. So really got to thank IK9. I do believe this is the last season that we're going to be together with them. So I really do appreciate their continued support. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. No driving off clip because this is where I got to start for the next journey. But yeah, there you go, Myrtle Beach. And if you guys enjoy, we do try to get a video out here on the channel every single day. And we really look forward to being able to share more with you on that. But with that, I thank you guys so much for coming out to this one. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.